So, Mark Zuckerberg has just made one of his boldest and maybe most aggressive moves yet in this huge AI war. He has basically declared an all-out hunt for talent. And you know what? He's willing to spend whatever it takes to win. This isn't just about building a cool new feature. For Meta, this is a straight-up fight for survival. And the first shot fired is an absolute bombshell. We're talking about Mark Zuckerberg personally writing checks with seven-figure sign-on bonuses. He's offering top AI researchers from rivals like OpenAI and Apple up to $2 million just to walk in the door. This isn't just poaching, it's a full-on talent raid. And we're not talking about one or two people here. Meta has snagged over a dozen of OpenAI's most important researchers. These are the minds behind stuff like ChatGPT and GPT-4o. I mean, the brain drain was so bad, it reportedly forced OpenAI to literally pause and figure out who was even left on the team. Okay, so this brings up a massive question, right? Unlike Google and Microsoft, who are in this direct product war, Meta isn't. And that creates this huge paradox. Why on earth would you spend billions of dollars on talent when your main AI model, Llama, is totally free and open source? Is this another billion-dollar blunder, like the metaverse? Or does Zuckerberg see some kind of threat that the rest of us are missing? To really get to the why, you first have to understand Meta's bread and butter. For years, its entire empire has been built on one thing: targeted advertising. It uses all that data from Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp to figure out exactly what you like, and then it sells that knowledge to advertisers. And here is the fatal flaw, the Achilles heel of that entire empire. Meta doesn't own the ground its kingdom is built on. You see, Facebook and Instagram are just apps. They live inside operating systems that are controlled by their biggest rivals, Apple's iOS and Google's Android. Meta is just a tenant, and they have to play by the landlord's rules. And that vulnerability, well, it became a full-blown catastrophe back in 2021. With just one software update, Apple rolled out its app tracking transparency feature. It gave every single iPhone user a simple little button to block apps like Facebook from tracking them around the web. The impact was immediate and, well, devastating. Meta's ability to deliver those super valuable targeted ads was crippled basically overnight. Its stock took the biggest single-day hit in U.S. market history, wiping out over $30 billion in value. It proved just how fragile its whole business really was. And this is the kind of thing that has to keep Zuckerberg up at night. Apple basically painted Meta as this data-stealing villain. And then, not long after crippling Meta's ad business, Apple conveniently rolled out its own targeted ad service. It's the ultimate power move, right? When your competitor does it, it's a crime. When you do it, it's a feature. So this is the crucial moment. This is when Zuckerberg has this terrifying realization. His entire multi-billion-dollar company could be kneecapped at any moment by a simple software update from a competitor. He was completely trapped. He had to find a way out, some way to control his own destiny. Look, in the world of tech, real power comes from controlling the foundational layers. You need the hardware, like the phone itself. And then you need the operating system, the brain that runs on it. Zuckerberg famously missed the boat on building a mobile OS back in the 2000s, and believe me, he has been paying the price ever since. He is determined not to make that same mistake twice. He sees generative AI as the next huge platform shift. It's the next operating system layer. He believes it's going to be the new foundation that everything else is built on. And this time, he is absolutely hell-bent on owning a piece of it. Now, his first strategy was actually pretty clever. He decided to make his AI model, Llama, completely open source and free. The logic was pretty simple. First, the global developer community would help make it better, faster. And second, companies who were worried about privacy would adopt Llama to keep their data safe, building a massive user base outside of his rivals' control. And honestly, it was a solid strategy, a really good move on paper. But in the crazy fast world of AI, a good strategy isn't enough if you're not moving fast enough. And the results pretty clearly showed it was failing. Yeah, the scoreboard doesn't lie. While Meta was out there promoting its open source model, the closed, private models from OpenAI and Google, well, they were just better.
They were pulling ahead in performance, and even some other open source projects were starting to outperform Llama. Meta was falling behind fast.
And then, all of a sudden, the threat wasn't just some abstract idea anymore. It became very real. Google started embedding its better AI right into YouTube, giving creators amazing new tools. This made YouTube and YouTube Shorts way more attractive than Instagram Reels, and it threatened to pull both creators and their audiences right out of Meta's world.
So if you want to build a world-beating AI, you basically need three things. Zuckerberg had data, tons of it, thanks to billions of users. He had the money for compute, buying up NVIDIA GPUs like they were going out of style. But he was missing the third, and maybe the most critical ingredient, the best human talent on the planet.
And this is when he had a huge realization. His whole open source strategy was flawed. In a revolutionary field like this, progress isn't made by an army of developers. It's driven by tiny, elite teams of absolute geniuses. I mean, look at OpenAI's incredible video model Sora. It was built by a core team of just 13 people. 13! And that is the answer to the whole mystery. This aggressive, almost hostile talent raid was an act of calculated desperation. He was making these massive, exploding offers, giving researchers just minutes to accept before the deal was gone forever. No time to call your manager, no time to negotiate. It was a surgical strike to get the one resource he couldn't just build or buy: irreplaceable human talent.
So what does this all mean? It means Zuckerberg has essentially declared war. This is a massive bet-the-company gamble on the future of Meta. In his mind, taking this extreme action now is way better than facing extinction in 5 years because he was too slow. But whether this turns out to be a masterstroke or a fatal mistake, one thing is for sure: the most expensive and ruthless battle of the AI war has just begun.